One of the things we might not think of when we're playing golf is dancing. But strangely enough, if we can use a little bit of a dance move with our feet, we can actually increase the load through our hips to help us hit the golf ball better and more effectively. Now when you watch this, you have to keep in mind that there's a demand and a complexity within these drills that are higher than the demand of the golf swing. That being said, when you take your body in an environment where it has to perform under increased demands, when you come back to the regular task, the normal golf swing, it will be easier for your body because you're going from normalcy or your regular task to a complex task back to the normal task. Okay, so the way this works is we want to understand the transformational zone of your right hip if you're a right-handed golfer and your left hip if you're a left-handed golfer of your backswing. So if I'm a right-handed golfer, what I'm going to do is from my golf posture, I'm going to wind up into my backswing, and from here, my right hip is going through 3 planes of motion. Okay, and the 3 planes of motion that my right hip's going through are flexion, adduction, and internal rotation. So I want to see if I can use my feet to help drive my hips in those planes of motion to create a better load through the hip complex. And the hips are where you're going to get most of your power from in the golf swing. So here's how it goes. Let's first take a look at the frontal plane. We already said that when you swing the club back, while there's not a lot of frontal plane, you don't want your hips to shift a lot, there is a little bit of frontal plane movement that occurs because all movement's 3-dimensional. So we want to see if we can use our feet to help better drive a load into the right hip. So what you're going to do is you actually want to start with a wide posture, okay? During the backswing, you're going to take your left foot and you're going to bring it closer to your right foot to increase the load through the right hip, and then you explode into your golf swing. Now when you're performing these, you may not hit the ball quite as hard as if you would just your normal golf swing, but maybe 50%, but you can play with it after a few repetitions. So again, in the frontal plane, I'm going to start wide, I'm going to do the backswing, bring my feet narrow, and then explode through the ball. Now, I can also use my right foot as a driver to increase the load. I can start with my feet narrow, and then as I go into the backswing, I can step my foot out and then explode through the ball. And I'll show you that once more. Now, instead of starting the feet wide, I start the feet narrow. I step my right foot to the right, I perform my backswing, and then I explode through the ball. Now, in the transverse plane, which is probably the most important because the golf swing is mostly rotational, we want to internally rotate the right hip, okay? So we want to get the pelvis to spin to the right on a femur that's relatively fixed. And the way we do that, again, we can use both feet to accomplish this task. You're going to start in a normal golf swing posture. As you perform your backswing, you're going to use your left foot to take a right rotational step to help further load your right hip this way, and then from here you want to explode back out through the golf swing. And I'll show you that one again. As you're taking your golf swing, you're going to use the left foot, right rotational step to further load the right hip, and then explode back out through the regular golf swing. Okay? Now what you can do is also, instead of using the left foot, use the right foot as a driver. And what we would do here is, as I do my backswing, I would actually take a right foot, right rotational step to get my pelvis to twist to the right, to further load the right hip for a more effective swing. So during the backswing, I'll take my right foot step to the right, then explode through the ball. Show you that once more. As I swing back, right foot, right rotation, explode, swing through the ball. In the last plane of motion, we have flexion that's required at the hip. So you could just see from the golf posture, the initial phase, my hips are in a flexed position. This would be extended, but we know we don't start there, we're here, okay? So now I want to take the complementary steps that are going to help me load my hips better into flexion. So if we take a look at using the left foot first, you'll see that if I step my left foot forward, my hip goes into extension. So that's not going to feed into the hip properly. What we want to do is take the left foot, step it back, and you'll notice that puts me into more flexion. So what I would do here is we're going to do left foot posterior step. So on the backswing, take a small back step, it doesn't have to be big, to help load the right hip and then explode through the ball. I'll show you that to you once more. During the backswing, swing the left foot, step the left foot back, explode through the ball. Now, my right foot, if you see if I step my foot back, this will actually take my back hip through extension. So I actually want to take this foot and step it forward during the backswing. So from here, during the backswing, this one's a little tricky. You're going to take a small forward step and then explode through the ball. And that one's a little more difficult to coordinate, but effective nonetheless. Take a backswing, forward step. From here, explode through the ball. Again, give yourself a little bit of time to get used to these drills, but I guarantee you, if you take a couple practice swings, go and perform these 6 practice drills, and then go back to your regular swing, you'll notice that your body is moving more fluidly. You're almost going to feel like you're hitting the ball more easily. There's not as much resistance within your body, and most likely you're going to hit the ball straighter and further. Little difficult to maybe for you to comprehend, but trust me, when we can exaggerate the planes and ranges of motion that your hips need to go through for a normal task, if we can add complexity to it and then bring you back to normal, your body will start to work better. If you have any questions with this, because there's a lot to absorb here, please give a call here to the studio. Thanks.